If you were worrying that George R.R. Martin would be working on a Game of Thrones and finishing off The Winds of Winter, nope. Anything but that. He's a very busy man with lots of conventions to attend at this point, guys, and he will be doing anything but this. Now, he gave kind of a summary of Worldcon and just what he was doing there, kind of lamenting the culture. And unfortunately, George, people like you are why the culture shifted and changed. And when you guys turned Worldcon into its little gay political club that it is, you ensured that it would not be what it was anymore. And so it is sad. Some of the people you mentioned were some of the greats in fantasy and science fiction. They're leaving us now. They're departing now. And I'm sad about that too. Just people get old. It is what it is. But Worldcon has gotten old. Worldcon has turned itself into an insular group. It is dying, and you're proving this at this juncture with what you're saying here. But it is, again, because of the attitudes of you guys, where you called everybody you don't like fascists and Nazis, etc., trying to just subvert the culture and turn it into this nasty thing. You turned the Hugo Awards into, what gay dinosaur porn can we get an award this year so that we can virtue signal our fetishes. I mean, you've denigrated these institutions for so long that's why nobody's risen up and actually made it great and continued on anymore. At this point, I don't even think I will ever attend a convention again. I think it's too dangerous. That's kind of the point I tried to make in Worldcon 2018 when they originally banned me, was that, hey, it's dangerous. And that was what was happening back then. I mean, this is like with what went on this week with Charlie Kirk, it's just like I've been calling out science fiction fantasy to stop acting like this for years, and yet they don't seem to realize that they are the ones that are responsible for radicalizing people, for making people totally insane, for justifying insanity, for creating blue sky to make insanity even more. And so while you're lamenting this, George, and I'm going to show his laments here, you guys are responsible. And I'll talk about what Worldcon became back then as well. Leave a comment down below, guys. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Get us going on the YouTube algorithm here. George R.R. Martin may not be able to finish a book, but that's why I just put a single story into one book so you'd be able to finish it. Imagine that. They don't do that a lot these days. This is my Demon's Eye. It's a classic sword and sorcery fantasy, and it's a lot of fun. Great evil is awakened. War ravages the kingdoms of Hiram and Tyrrell. Strange apparitions are appearing everywhere, but the worst part of it all is Jaden finds himself at the center of an ancient prophecy. This is stuff you'll really enjoy if you like classic fantasy. It's in the description below. Support us here as a blacklisted and, of course, independent author doing the good work and making books get done. That's what we try to do over here. I'd rather spend my time writing books than going to conventions, honestly, anyway. But yes, this is in the description below. I've also got a newsletter and a whole web store. You can check out all of my books because I'm pretty prolific here. And I appreciate you guys being here on the Real Fantasy News. So, yes, he's winning awards for The Ugly Chickens, something he's not his stuff. He's busy watching football. And here we go, a busy month, very busy month, just not working on Game of Thrones at all. August was a busy month, he says, 2 conventions, a trip in between, a couple of guests afterwards. Can't work. And then, of course, we have... he's got New York Comic Con this month, so he's busy with conventions again. Worldcon was in Seattle. The Brotherhood Without Banners were there, which he always likes to see. Caught up with some old fan friends, made some new ones. He says, I did two panels, both of them enjoyable, which is pretty funny, because on that panel, somebody asked him if he's going to get somebody else to finish Winds of Winter, since he's obviously not working on it, and he's getting older. And he's lamenting people's deaths here while in science fiction and fantasy. That fan was asking a legitimate question, and he ran off the stage quickly. He was ushered off the stage. They shut down the panel rather than answer the question, which is really telling here. And it shows that he is, at this point, saying, everybody is getting older, and probably am not going to finish this. So he said he had 300 at his autograph. Congrats. I think 300 people autograph your books. The highlight, the highlight of the con was the screening of Howard Waldrop short films. That's a highlight of okay. So we had a full house for that, every seat occupied. I wish Howard could have been there to see them. When not signing books or doing a panel or show and film, he sat around at the bar, chatting about everything and nothing. Don't need to work on a book. I need to reach the point in my life that the best part of any con for me, it does bring back memories, though. The World Cons these days are filled with ghosts, Howard and Gardner, Ed Bryant and John Miller, many more. And he talks about Gardner gosh, I can't pronounce that guy's name, Dubois, I think it is. And a lot of these guys were stalwarts and editors in science fiction and fantasy who did a lot of work. All of them were. These are people to lament that they're not there anymore. I'm not criticizing him for that as well. But yeah, a lot of people are gone. And this whole greats of science fiction and fantasy, they're not with us anymore. And Worldcon doesn't really have that anymore. If you looked at the schedule and who was on it, it was a bunch of wannabe authors who were just they're trying to use the convention as evidence that they are doing something while not selling very many books. And like I said, the convention itself has been to blame for this because they've axed people out. They've made it so that they're anti-white male as a whole industry, right? And they're pushing this agenda over and over again that you can't get published in science fiction fantasy by a traditional publisher as a straight white male anymore. It's just not doable. And so we've lost generations of potentially great people who are just not getting the exposure they need and not being seen at this point. And so the next Gardner or Howard or Ed Bryant or John Miller, you might notice something about all these George R. R. Martin, they're white males. And I noticed this too. In 2018, I was going to bring out a bunch of science fiction fantasy writers, and my goal was to get a table at Worldcon, and I was going to set up, and there's all these indie guys who are pretty good, and I wanted to show them and start and help build careers together and build all this together. And my goal was I was going to sign up there, sit there at a table, live stream a bunch because, this is the future, and we have YouTube now. And it would have been a lot of fun, and I would have also all these people would have been in front of a lot of these wokeites and old people in science fiction, and shown that we're human, and we would have been able to get together. And my grand vision, I'm very utopian Gene Roddenberry like in that regard, was that we'd all come together over science fiction, because this was the first Trump term, and these people were going way unhinged on everybody at this point. Well, when I showed up, and what happened was, like, over the summer, there was a lot of weird violence, kind of like there is now. And it was from leftists trying to, like, burn down cities and things like that. And my people who were going to come with me are like, I can't do this. I don't want to, like, risk anything like that. So I messaged the World Science Fiction Convention. I'm like, guys, what are you going to do for security and the like? Because I've got a bunch of conservative authors and all that. They don't feel safe there, and for good reason, because these people have been going out there saying punch a Nazi, over and over. You got weirdos like Patrick S. Tomlinson, who are there every year, who is a nut job, who makes threats pretty regularly. I mean, this is something that's legitimate, and so they didn't respond, and because of that. I'm like, at the time I was like, I was pretty brazen. I'm like, I'm going to buy a ticket anyway and go. And I did. And then the SIFWA types, they were so hateful, so bigoted, that they complained to Worldcon, and Worldcon event banned me, and then put up on their website calling me a racist bully and the like. And I had to sue them over it, right? And I won for libel. And they had to pay me, and unfortunately, they didn't stop here these conventions like this. They banned John Ringo from Carolina Cons. They banned Larry Correia from Origins Game Fair. These conventions just kept going like this, and banning a lot of people just over politics, and just because they wanted to insulate this and make this a political club rather than. Like I said, my nice utopian vision of just coming together over science fiction fantasy and enjoying ourselves. They can't do that. They don't, because they've worked so hard to dehumanize so many people online and make it so that you cannot even be treated as human. They don't want to. They're scared, because when you act like a nice person in person, they're going to have to change, and they don't want that more than anything, because they want to hate, and that's what these people are. George R. R. Martin's been a part of this for a lot of years. He said he couldn't even write, last year because the fascists. Because again, Donald Trump got elected again. Now we're at a point where, conservatives are getting shot at events, public events, right? And so at this point, I was thinking about going to the Los Angeles Worldcon next year, because it's here in California, and I'm like, I can't do it now. Somebody will try to kill me. I mean, it's pretty obvious. And this is exactly what my conservative author friends were thinking back in 2018 too. This has not changed. It's just gotten worse. And no one of these people will speak out on this stuff whatsoever, right? And so while you're lamenting that the old white male guard that actually did great things is no longer there, guess what? You've done everything you could to axe all of these people out, to actually turn Worldcon into this old liberals club where, they don't have anybody else. They don't have any great talent anymore coming out there, and it is kind of your fault for doing so. And as an elder statesman, and as many elder statesmen are up there in the industry now, none of you actually stood up and said anything because you wanted that clout so badly within the industry, so that they'd promote you in Hollywood and etc. You took the ticket, right? The sold your soul in essence in order to make sure that your stuff was successful. And yeah, you're responsible for Worldcon dying. If you're lamenting that that's happening, it's all because of people like you in the industry. All right, that's it. New York City Comic Con is next on the schedule. We'll be very busy, not working on his book. And yes, fun stuff. But this is it. If you want things to be great again, you have to figure out how to actually be leaders within your own side, guys, and dial down the rhetoric, dial down the violent talk. We've seen many science fiction and fantasy writers on Blue Sky just talking about how they thought it was okay to kill Charlie Kirk this weekend. I mean, it's nasty. And if you don't dial that down, it's never going to be the scene you want anymore. And, as far as somebody like me, I could go to Worldcon. I would love to make a presence. I'd love to actually do things like that. I can't do it now. I got kids, and I can't risk some nut job because you guys have called me a Nazi over and over and over again, going crazy there at me and actually trying to show up at this point because I got to raise my kids. And let's be honest, I'm going to reach a lot more people online than I will ever at a Worldcon. Leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Do you think it's sad that Worldcon's dying and that George R. R. Martin seems to be lamenting this at this point? Hit the like and subscribe button, and please check out my Demon's Eye in the description below. Appreciate you being here and reading fantasy books. We'll be back soon.